Test was much needed, to be honest. Obviously, in Portugal, especially second loops, I was clearly struggling, so was not really on the pace. So it was important to be here, and to be honest, in the end, the rider came up some good solutions. So we definitely made some steps forward, and it felt better. So how good it is in the end, obviously, the test is always limited to understand many different conditions, but we improved, and it's a good step forward.
Others haven't tested in Sardinia for this rally. Does that give you and the team any advantage?
Obviously, Toyota tested just before Portugal, but they did. But I mean, generally, yeah, it's the teams have different strategies where they use the test days, and as for us, it was quite important to improve before coming here. And at the moment, still championship is tight, so we need to play all our cards. So we had to go for it.
What were your impressions of the stages on the recce?
It seems like we are already in safari. They are rough, many sticking stones, a lot of vertical. I mean, they are definitely more rough than usual already during the recce. This year also, the stage is characteristic-wise more technical, more narrow, quite between the trees. So yeah, in some places actually the trees are actually on the road. So it's a tricky rally. It's challenging.
I see. How will you manage the 50-kilometer Montelerno stage?
It's quite an interesting stage. It has many different sections. Some places like cow tracks, some places quite fast and flowing, some rough, some smooth, some muddy. It has everything in there. So yeah, in some way definitely it's not easy to find a good rhythm there, but if you do, it can make big difference. So it's a stage you definitely need to focus.
How was the pre-event test?
Actually, it wasn't a pre-event test, it was a Pirelli tire day, so I was not able to do setting on the car. So I have to drive on the normal setup, and I didn't change all the day because it was to see how was the tire wear, so I was not able to try a lot of things.
Okay, so some other teams haven't tested here though, in Sardinia. Did that test give you any kind of advantage?
I hope so. For sure, it's always better to drive, but it was at Tergosilo. I think you know this stage. It's a killer tire stage. So, but like I said, driving it's always better.
I see. And what were your impressions from recce?
It's honestly it's very demanding this year. It's always very demanding, but I would say that this year it's look a bit special. A lot of more narrow and slow parts. So yeah, that will be a very very demanding event.
I see. And how will you manage the 50-kilometer Montelerno stage?
I don't know. Will be good to be very humble against these stages. 50 kilometers, it's a lot. That will be the first time for everybody, I think, to do so many kilometers in this new car. So that will be interesting. But we are quite lucky with the temperature.
So, chasing your first podium. Can you get it here?
I don't know. After what's happened in Portugal, I was fighting for it, and I did a silly mistake, unfortunately. So, yeah, I just hoping to do a clean run with good pace, and build this confidence that I need so much. Unfortunately, with what happened in Portugal, it wasn't the best way to keep it, but it's part of the rally. We need to continue to try.
Congratulations on the Formula Drift win.
Thank you.
Did you expect it?
Yeah, of course. I was hoping for it a bit. I was going there to fight for the win, like always. I knew that if everything goes right and we can get the car, let's say, suitable and in a good setup for me, I think I was going there to fight for the win.
Awesome. And impressions from recce?
Yeah, generally this year it seems to be quite rough. All the small parts, and there has been some new parts, new stages. Definitely really rough condition. The long one and the Friday overall will be a really tough day, to be honest. Really rough parts, and then of course opening the road for the morning will be really tough.
How will you manage the 50-kilometer Montelerno stage?
That's gonna be a big challenge, especially when you're quite early or you are the first car on the road. You need to use some soft tires. If it's dry, you need to manage them quite well, not to kill them. So there is definitely many things that you need to take care on the long stage.
You just mentioned the weather. You must be praying for a lot of rain.
Yeah, it would help us a lot. It has been raining a bit. I don't know how much on the Friday stages, but anyway, it has been raining. So definitely, I'm hoping for more, to be honest, and let's see how it goes.
Impression is that it's a rough weekend ahead. I think it's definitely rougher than what I have seen in the last years here on the recent years. So I think it's going to be a challenging weekend. Some long stages, Montellano, 50Ks. We haven't done that for a while and never with a hybrid car. So of course, a lot of question mark for that one as well. And the weather is very unpredictable. A lot of rain forecast for the rest of the week. It has been raining more or less every day so far. So might spice up the race for you guys, but for us make it complicated with the tire choice and the strategy. So yeah, it doesn't look so clear at the moment for the weekend.
Yeah, you just touched on it there, the 50-kilometer stage. Any ideas on how you're going to manage that one?
Well, I think not really, but the truth is without split time in those days, you cannot really manage much because it's hard to know where you are in terms of reason. So you have to kind of go as fast as you can, but of course trying to save a bit the car and the tires. And 2 past there, already 1/3 of the rally. So of course it's going to be a very crucial stage this weekend. But many sections are going to be difficult. Even stage 1 or SS2 on Friday morning will be very rough and very challenging. It's only 10 Ks, but already a big challenge. So, yeah, I'm not so sure what to expect about the weekend, but of course we are here to fight on the front, and we'll try our best for that.
How does it feel heading into an event like this one, but not being first on the road?
Well, it's always better on gravel, but at the moment with this many showers that we have, it's not even clear that it's going to be a big problem being in the front. So I'm not sure. We have to wait and see which condition we are facing this weekend. Usually, if it's dry, of course, it's bad to open the road here. Though 2 years ago I managed to win from the front, so it's not, let's say, completely impossible. But I think we all appreciate if you have a couple of cars in front of us. I have only 2, so it's not that many, but let's try to make the best of it.
Yeah, this one is another rally that you start with the same number of wins as Loeb. In Monte in Mexico, you overtake him there. Does that mean it's guaranteed?
Yeah, hopefully the trend carry on, because I will be happy with that, of course. And yeah, obviously, as you just informed me about it, it's not the main motivation to be here, of course, but motivation is to have fun, try to win for myself and for the team.
What's the feeling like heading into this one?
Yeah, feeling is pretty good. Obviously, recce's all done now. It's been quite a tough recce out there. Quite a few new notes, but the route is pretty challenging this year, I would say. Of course, the weather has played a part with a few muddy sections as well, but also some roughness out there on the stages. So I think it's going to be a challenging event.
Any other impressions from recce?
Other than the changeable weather, of course, that's something that's been going on. It seems to be raining flat out 1 minute and bright sunshine the next. Stage conditions are really variable, so yeah, that's it pretty much.
The 50k Montellano stage. How are you going to manage that?
Of course, it's quite a key part of the rally, and now, of course, with the weather being quite changeable, it could be quite difficult in terms of tyre strategy. Of course, then beyond that, in terms of driving, obviously you have to try and stay clean if possible, avoid any trouble. But the main objective is to try and pick up a nice rhythm and drive, kind on the tyres. Be let's say have a good rhythm and be smooth with the driving. Yeah, of course, it's been quite a while now since we tested for this event, but of course there was some small steps, like always, that we tried to sort of bring forward the development of the car, and everything felt pretty okay. We already had a good base from Mexico, so yeah, nothing too special, let's say, but hopefully all moving in the right direction.
Taka, what were your impressions from recce?
Yeah, let's say normal like Sardinia difficulties and even more some sections are a bit more rough. I'd say this lot of lane making more difficult. Some section more I'd say more slippery and yeah, of course like not slippery as fully dry, but other kind of slippery of course if it gets much. So it's gonna be a very difficult weekend.
How will you manage the 50-kilometer Monte Lerno stage?
Yeah, let's say try to just read some pace note and don't think about how wrong to go. I think this is one of the key, when same as training or marathon, like you don't need to, if you start to think, it feels so wrong. So
Did really well in Portugal before the issues. So what can you do here?
yeah, honestly, it's more difficult. I'd say personally, it's more difficult rally for me is here than Portugal. So I have to a bit more like, let's say, smart way to finish rally and to get the experience and idea to where I should improve because this rally is most I'm struggling basically in WRC calendar. So need to find what I really need and yeah, this is my plan, but it's going to be very difficult anyway for everybody. So there will be some chance, of course.
Obviously, the weather conditions were quite challenging throughout the WRC, which is going to make the rallying even more challenging. Couple of or lots of new stages in terms of, let's say, alignment of the bits, because most of the bits we have done. One completely new stage, which we have never done, which is stage 2, which is a very challenging stage to kick off the rally, very narrow. For the rest, yeah, we have to see how the weather is evolving. This will be the crucial part. And how we're going to manage our tires. We have only 12 soft tires for the whole weekend. Yeah, if it continues to rain, it's going to be tough.
How are you going to manage the 50-kilometer Monte Lerno stage?
Yeah, again, it's hard to predict at the moment. I mean, the weather conditions will be the most crucial thing for such a long stage, and the tires we're gonna have on the car. I mean, if it's raining and we are with hard tires on the car, it's going to be very challenging, and the management will be much more surviving than anything else. Obviously, if it's drying out, will be a bit more easy for the 50k. But anything can happen, and there could be also some rain showers and could make it very difficult.
Yeah. You didn't test in Sardinia for this one. Does that make any kind of difference ahead of the rally?
For sure it does. It always does when you have no proper pre-event test for many events during the year. Obviously, with 7 days of testing per driver, we are left very often without any real start setup coming to the event, and we have to figure it out during shakedown, which can work sometimes, and straight away you are in the good settings. But very often you need to find throughout the rally your setting, and sometimes it could be that you never get the full confidence. It happened to me in Portugal, where I struggled quite a lot. So we did some changes on the technical specifications I choose for here, and hopefully I'm gonna improve.
The very next question, actually, what did you change specifically?
Yeah, we work mainly on the damper side and a bit on the geometry. Obviously, I kept my Mexican choices for Portugal, which felt good in pre-event test as well, but obviously I was missing something, and I went over to some settings which my teammate were using, which I was able to drive now on some testing in Finland, but obviously it's not very similar conditions, so it's hard to predict, but hopefully we find more speed.
Okay, and the turbo issues, did the team get to the bottom of them?
Yeah, it was very clear. Obviously, it was a human mistake, which happened overnight. We got some trouble with the turbo on Saturday after the last stage, which was very obvious. They changed it. But obviously, a mistake had been done, and with no morning service, there was no opportunity for them to double check. And so we ran in trouble as soon as we left the Parc Fermé.
Yeah, so basically we've been working with our supplier and partner in turbocharger. We've got good indication of what happens, so we have a number of containment measures that are introduced for this rally, hoping that the issue is not going to repeat itself. Obviously, with the season, with lots of bank holidays and all the logistics consequence it has, it made things a bit difficult, but we are confident to have a first element of solution for the weekend.
Welcome, FX, to the team. How will this work alongside Christian Laurier?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty clear, at least in my head. But everyone needs to make it work. No, so FX is coming in quite an obvious position, but strangely, which was not in existence in this team for years, which is a position of technical director, because Christian was not technical director. He was technical advisor, something which, by the way, actually I made change. Christian is now program manager of WRC, so the Rally 1 car. So basically, Christian needs to have full accountability for the strategic direction that we are taking for the development of the car, from a technology perspective. And FX, in your quality of technical director, will make sure that we deliver in accordance to this vision and this strategy. On the top of that, FX will have a number of activities because it's not just Rally 1 that we're doing. We're also doing a Rally 2 car, as you know. And we have also a number of other cars that we're developing in touring car and customer racing program, on the top of helping me out on a number of new projects that we are working on.
Toyota are in good form at the moment. Can you beat them this weekend?
You know, if you ask me if we can beat them, I think that the beauty of the world of rally is that anything can happen at any given time. Now, in very straightforward conditions, I do believe that they have better car. They've been dominating in the last few events in many different surfaces, so I would not see why it would suddenly change this rally. Having said that, it's rally, and because it's rally, it's never that straightforward. That's why it's not Formula One. So let's see what can happen. But more seriously, we are all taking very seriously the fact that they are clearly faster than us, and obviously FX, who's starting tomorrow, is obviously the first priority will be to work with Christian in making that car faster than what it is now, because we are right now dominated it, and it needs to stop.
Thank you. And finally, DirtFish are hearing Suninen may have signed for 3 rounds in a Rally 1 car. Can you tell us about third driver negotiations?
Well, the only thing that I can say is that, which is not new news to anyone, is that Teemu Suninen is very much part of Hyundai's family already for a while. He's wearing our colors in WRC2 Championship, where he's doing very well. The plan was always for him to contribute to the development of the car, which is what he's done last week in testing with us and for us Rally 1 car in Finland. It will be part of what we will be building for the future, but it's too early to exactly say in what conditions. So give me a bit more time. Right now, the focus was on making sure that we have a technical director, which is the big news of the week, and there will be more news coming up in the following weeks on drivers.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised how broke are the stages and difficult. The surface was quite difficult, and also the rain was coming really, really strong at one point. So it was even more difficult to make the recce at one point. But it's always demanding here in Sardinia.
Yeah, indeed. How will you manage the 50-kilometer stage, Montelerno?
It's quite difficult stage, many different type of surface, but honestly during the recce it was nice to do the stage. It was not that long. It was long, but I think we can do it well. Let's see after with the rally car and pushing hard, it will be also more difficult because it's demanding. It's many kilometers, narrow with a lot of stones, pace notes at the same time. In the recce we did in like 55 minutes, so let's see. In the rally car, it will be something special for sure.
Have you tested at all for this event?
If I tested?
Have you tested? Have you?
No, we didn't test for this rally, but we will start to take the information for Portugal, and let's see.
So you're here and you're in Kenya afterwards. Do you know how many rallies you're going to do this year?
How many rallies I will do?
Do you know?
Normally I will do like 7 or 8 rallies like it was in my contract before, so we will keep the same plan.
What were your impressions from Recce?
Well, there was some new stages for me, as Sunday is completely new for me. Then we had stage 2 is new as well for everyone, so that was actually quite tricky at that stage. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is the weather forecast and the weather, how it's gonna evolve during the weekend, and who will get the rain and who will not. So can be challenging in terms of that.
Any plans on how you'll manage the 50-kilometer Montelerno stage?
It will be okay. I mean, especially if it's raining a bit, then the tire wear will not be high. The temperatures are a bit down as well. For sure, in the car will be hot anyway. I mean, when you do such a long stage, a long time, then everything is pretty hot in the car, so it makes the cockpit temperature pretty high as well. But I have no worries, to be honest.
You led here last year, and you're very fast on gravel this year. What's the target this weekend?
I think on gravel it needs to be podium now every time. I think we have found a good speed with the car, and in every loose surface, let's say like this. So this needs to be the minimum target in every race.
And finally, no on-location test here in Sardinia for this one. Does that make a difference? Will that make a difference this weekend?
No, we tested in Finland, and I have confidence that I did something good in Finland, which we can use in here as well.